everybody and welcome to my first Halloween video of this year, and today I'm going to be showing you how to get a half burnt face makeup look, and it's super easy and really quick. So I'm starting off with Vaseline. So as you can see, I've only done half my face in makeup, so the other half is completely clean, and I'm just taking a little bit of the Vaseline and I'm popping it on my eyebrow, basically because we're going to be using a lot of liquid latex and that can actually rip the hairs off your skin if you're not careful. So once I've done that, I'm then just taking some tissue paper. This is just normal toilet tissue paper, and I'm just peeling it in half so that they're in nice little thin sheets. I'm then taking my Nye Liquid latex and I'm just going around my brow to begin with and then placing the tissue over the top, just so we don't get any liquid latex on the brow, and the Vaseline's there just to protect it even further. And then I've layered the tissue on, and then I'm taking the liquid latex around the edge of the tissue and then blending it into the skin. So this is the bulk of the makeup look. So basically all that we're doing here is building up the texture ready for us to paint over the top. So as you saw, I also take a little bit of cotton wool and I put that in little areas around my face as well on top of the tissue, just to help build that texture. So with the tissue, as I said, I split the tissue in half so it becomes really, really thin. And then I rip it up in random little shapes. There's no particular way of doing it. And I place it on top of the liquid latex, and then I go over with the liquid latex just to make sure it's all set and there's nothing which is sort of peeling off the face or anything. You want to make sure it's really well stuck down. And for me, what I decided to do for this, because I wanted something that was quite dramatic, you could make it basically as dramatic or as not dramatic as you want, but I did decide to go over the whole half of my face, around my eye, and also down my neck and onto my shoulder. But once I'd laid down a bit of tissue, as you can see with what I'm doing here, I take a tiny little bit of cotton wool and I kind of pull it over the liquid latex, because the liquid latex will start to dry straight away. So it allowed it to be tacky enough to sort of drag the cotton wool over the surface to give your skin that little bit more of a rough texture, because obviously with this sort of thing you really want the texture to come through. The colour on its own isn't enough. So as you can see, all I'm doing here is building it up, and you can build it up to as little or as much as you want in terms of thickness. I did decide to go onto my ear as well, just so that it was all cohesive. I didn't want to kind of see that the tissue paper had all of a sudden stopped at the edge of my face. I wanted it to kind of carry on, and I knew I was going to end up painting my ears anyway, so I thought, oh, a little bit on the edge of my ear will be fine. And yeah, so I took it down my neck as well, as you can see here, and then I'm taking the brown and red Snazoroo face paints, and the first one I'm taking is the red, and I'm basically just doing a base colour over my entire over the entire area in which I've put that tissue and latex down. So it's just to give it that base colour, because as you'll see as we go on, we do build up a lot on with other colours as well, but this just gives you that kind of bloody, fresh blood look to the skin, so that we can build and layer on top of it, and it just looks a little bit more realistic. I did go in with a brush to begin with because it applied the colour quite densely, but then I decided to go back in with a sponge just because it made it look a lot messier, it made it look a lot more textured, and it meant that I could do it a lot quicker. And as you can see, I'm taking the paint right into my hairline as well. You don't want there really to be any sort of definition between where the makeup starts and finishes. I'm then taking the black Snazoroo face paint and I'm just painting around my eye. Where I want the darkest colour to be is basically where I'm putting the black. So I put a little bit on my mouth and a little bit around my eye. And then I'm taking the James Charles and Morphe eyeshadow palette, and I'm basically just buffing around the edges of that black to blend it into the red to begin with. And I also take a little bit of it's brown, sorry, I haven't said what colour I'm using. It's a brown and a black matte shadow which I'm using mixed together, and I put it all over the black as well just to matte it down. And then yeah, I blended out the edges and then just started adding more darkness to the parts of the face where I really wanted to create more depth. So I did go around the edge of the mouth, I went around my nose, I went on my forehead, and then it became quite clear that as I went on that the more darkness that I added to the look, the more realistic it appeared. And what's great about the liquid latex is that on its own adds texture as well. So you can see that where the half face finishes, where there's just liquid latex, by putting an eyeshadow on there and really sort of emphasizing the texture, you can see even the texture of the liquid latex on its own like really emphasises the look, which I thought was great. I'm then taking the Nye Stage Blood and I'm dabbing this all over my face. Basically, I wanted to create a really wet look to the skin, because obviously if you were experiencing burns in real life, the scars would be pretty wet. So yeah, I just used a sponge, and I pulled a little bit of the sponge, I misshaped it a little bit so it was a bit more jaggedy, and then I dipped it into my Stage Blood and then dabbed that all over my face. I did go a bit crazy with this because I just thought it looked awesome. Like once it was really dark and wet, it just looked so much scarier. And I thought it was just a really easy way of making your Halloween makeup look even more scary and real, and oh, I don't know, and I just loved the way it glistened on my shoulder as well. I just thought it looked really like effective. And this is the finished makeup look, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. I am kind of obsessed with this like SFX type of makeup at the minute. So as always guys, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video.